Clear? So, physical record, it is the way the data are recorded on storage media. Is it clear? Physical record is the way the data are recorded on storage media. So, file that is a collection of related records, that is called the file. Is it clear? A collection of related record is called file. The size of file is limited by the size of memory, right? The collection of related records is file and the size of file is limited by the size of memory. So, files, there is two file activities and file volatility. So, file activities, it specifies the percentage of records processed in a single run. File activities is the percentage of records that can be processed in a single run. And if small percentage of records processed, that is file activity is small, then direct access should be used, and if the file activity is high, then tape should be used. Again I am repeating, if small percentage of records processed, that is file activity is small, then direct access should be used, right? If file activity is high, then tape should be used. So, file volatility, it specifies the properties of record that changes how frequent records are changing, right? For high volatility file, that is in which records are changing frequently, we must use disk rather than tape. Clear? File volatility, that is the properties of record changes how frequent records are changing. As we know that for highly volatile file, that is in which records are changing frequently, we must use disk rather than tape. So, database is a set of interrelated files, right? It can be used by several users. So, this is the basic structure of the file structure, as you know very well, that is the byte, then records, then data, files, then database. The next is the file organization. So, file organization that can deals with the physical organization of records in a file for convenience of their storage and retrieval. File organization that can deal the physical organization of records in a file for convenience of their storage and retrieval. So, the choice of a particular file organization that can depends on the application type. Is it clear? The choice of a particular file organization that can depends on the application type. So, there is some key fields for the file organizations. One is the sequential file organization, direct file organization, index sequential file organization, and inverted list. Clear? Again I am repeating, all these are the key fields for the file organization. First is sequential file organization, direct file organization, index sequential file organization, and inverted list. So, sequential file organization, as you know very well, in these records are written in same sequence in which they are placed on disk according to ascending or descending order of record key. Is it clear? That is, in these records are written in same sequence in which they are placed on disk according to ascending or descending orders of records key, right? The example is in payroll system, records are sequentially stored by employees code. So, assessing how it can be assessed. To assess a record, it is necessary to read file from beginning until desired record is located. Clear? In sequential file organization, records can be added only at end of file. So, there is some advantage of sequential files, that is, it can be simple to understand and use, it can be easy to maintain, it is economical, and efficiency to storage, that is best use of storage. Clear? There is some advantages. Simple to understand and use, easy to maintain, it is economically efficiency to storage and best use of storage, right? There is some disadvantages. Records needs to be sorted before processing. Searching time is time consuming, as you know very well कि अगर कोई आपने सर्च करना तो आपको बिगनिंग से सर्च करना पड़ेगा, ठीक है, राइट? फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल रिकॉर्ड्स दैट नीड टू बी sorted, then searching is time consuming, and data cannot be added in the middle of file without rewriting file, right? We cannot add any data or any record in the middle of the file, and duplicacy of data. So direct access, that is a random. Data is stored on disk by key field. Records are placed randomly throughout the file. So accessing, records are accessed by addresses and specify their disk location, right? Random access में क्या होता है? They can accessing, records are accessed by addresses that specify their disk locations. Addresses can be of two types. The one is absolute and relative, right? Absolute, that represents the physical location of the record, and relative, that gives a record location relative to beginning of the file. Clear? Addresses absolute and relative. There is some advantages. Fast retrieval of records. Records can be updated or added. Updating of any record does not require rewriting and need not to sort transactions, right? There is some disadvantages. Very expensive, some wastage of storage space, calculating address required for processing, variable length records impossible to process, right? The next is indexed sequential organization. Like sequential organization, index sequential also organized in sequence, right? It can also be organized in sequence. It combines the advantages of both sequential and direct access, and this method uses indexes to locate records. Is it clear? This method uses indexes to locate records. So in this, disk storage contains three areas: prime area, index area, overflow area. Prime area, in which all records are initially stored, right? And index area, that contains the keys of records and their location on disk. A pointer associated with each key is an address to find a record. And the overflow area, it contains records added to file that cannot be placed in logical sequence in prime area, or you can in initial area, right? Then access, to access a record, it use direct access to locate the record according to key number in the index area. The pointer points to desired record in prime area. Clear? There is some advantages. It can be processed both randomly as well as sequentially, and very quick access of records, and records can be inserted or updated in middle of a file. Is it clear? There is some disadvantages, that is additional storage for indexing files, slower than direct access, unique keys are required, and periodic reorganization of file is required. So there is some disadvantages. So inverted list organization, like indexed sequential methods, that can inverted file organization that maintains an index. Is it clear? Inverted list organization that can maintains an index. In this, records are not sorted in particular sequence. Index sequential has multiple IDs for a given keys, whereas list has one index for each key type. They are placed in data storage area, but indexes are updated for record keys and location, right? So only random access of records are involved. So advantages, used in applications requesting specific data on multiple keys. So next is database design. Database design is an integrated collection of related data files along with the details about their definitions, manipulations and maintenance. It is efficient way to manage and manipulate data needs. Database system is managed by DBMS, that is called, as you know very well, database management system, a collection of well organized interrelated data and methods to assess the centralized database is called DBMS. DBMS is a complex software and it is primary purpose and it can allow a user to store, update and retrieve data in abstract terms. It is easy to maintain and retrieve, right? It can be used, as know very well, that can include creation, updating, deleting, insertion, modification, security, backup, transfer, etc. So components, there is some components, that is a data languages, query processor, storage manager, data manager, database. So the types of data language is, there is a DDL, data definition language, that is used to define external and conceptual view of data, and DML, data manipulation language, that can be used to manipulate the data in the database. So this is the basically the structure of the DBMS, right? So DDL compiler, that converts the data definition statements into a set of tables, and these tables contains metadata concerning database. So data manager, it is central software component of DBMS. It is referred to as a database control system. It is responsible for interfacing with file system. It can maintain consistency. It is responsible for backup and recovery. So file manager, that is responsible for structures of files and managing the file space and locating block containing required record. So disk manager, it is a part of operating system of host computer and physical input and output operations that can be performed. Is it clear? That is the part of operating system, disk manager. Then query processor, it is used to interpret the user's query and convert it into an efficient series of operations and send it to the data manager for execution. Telecom system, as you know very well, that is the online user whether remote or local, communicate with it by sending and receiving messages over communications line. Data files, that can contain portion of the database. So data dictionary, information of structure and uses of data contained in metadata, which is maintained in data dictionary, and it can store information concerning external, conceptual and internal levels of database. Data model, it is a collection of conceptual tools for describing data and data relationship, data semantics and consistency constraints. So there is some components, that is a structural part, manipulating part, integrating rules, right? So types of data models, relational models, network model, hierarchical models. Relational model, as you know, that is a collection of tables that represent data and relationship among them, and data is organized in rows and columns in a table, right? This is a network model, that is data represented by collections of records and relationship among them. And hierarchical, it contains a collection of records and concern connected to in a form of 3. So this is the basically detailed design. As we know very well, we had covered all the first of all the types of design, that is logical design and physical design, then design objectives, there's practicality, correctness, completeness, efficiency, cost, flexibility, security. Then we had covered all the module specification, that is a combination or decomposition or subcomponents. So methods of module, that is informal and formal. So there is some then we had covered some important points that can be considered in the specification. So then next we had covered the criteria to evaluate a program module, that is module coupling we had covered, then module cohesion, right? Then we had covered the file design. Then next is the types of file, like master file, input output file, transfer file, library files, transaction files, temporary files, backup file, history files, and then the file structures you know very well, that is the byte data, items, records, files, database. Then file organization, as you know very well, we had covered the sequential file organization, direct file organization, indexed, inverted. Then we had covered the database design, then the components of the database like your data language, query processor, storage manager, data manager, database. So these are the, that is, these all are the topics that is concerned with the detailed design, right. So this, there is some properties